All hail Biafra. This is Biafra Liberation Army Network coming to you again. Please do subscribe, like, share, and comment.
We are bringing to you the live updates of Prime Minister Simon Ekpa's State of Union address as he addressed Biafrans on the latest developments. Listen.
Good evening, fellow Biafrans all over the world. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Good evening, lovers and friends of Biafra all over the world watching this evening State of the Union press briefing on the development that we have, and we needed to pass this information officially to the Biafra people. Today with me, I have the Biafra Republic of Tunisia International Attorney, Dr. Levy, who will be here with me to give some opinion on the development that we have had a couple of days ago. My fellow Biafrans, like we have always promised, that the government of Biafra, both in exile and the homeland, the first priority is that we are fighting the liberation of Biafra using multidimensional approach. Today, I have come with a good news. I want everyone to remember that in Biafra, Africa died, and in Biafra, Africa will rise. Today, there are movements all over Africa to liberate Africa from neocolonialism. Biafra will not be exceptional. In 2011, Biafra became a charter member of the Organization of Emerging African States. And in December 2015, the Organization of the Emerging African States called on the Nigeria government to hold a referendum on Biafra self-determination within 90 days, including the option of the total independence as a Republic of Biafra, a transitional phase of not more than 180 days. My fellow Biafrans, it may surprise a lot of people to know that this actually happened. Nigeria ignored it. In 2016, the Organization for Emerging African States repeated the call for referendum as the sponsor of the All Biafra Conference of Accra, which took place in 2016. My fellow Biafrans, in October of 2020, the Organization of Emerging African States repeated its demand for referendum on Biafra self-determination to the government of Nigeria. All these calls were ruthlessly ignored by the Nigeria state. The Organization for Emerging African States, after deliberation, has endorsed the Biafra Republic government in exile self-referendum on Biafra for many, many reasons. And one of those reasons, or some of those reasons are as follows. Nigeria refused to administer or permit a third party to conduct Biafra referendum. The organization also noted that the African Charter of Human and People's Rights guarantees the right to self-determination of everyone, including Biafra people. They also noted that Biafra has submitted a request to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights to assist with the referendum and peaceable transfer of power to the Republic of Biafra, if so indicated by its result. The Organization of Emerging African States noted that it's satisfied with the integrity of the referendum, which is being conducted digitally and at a local polling station and is subject to multiple safeguards. The result of the self-referendum also was noted that it is going to be satisfiable and will meet international standards. This is the submission of the Organization of Emerging African States. Millions of Biafrans have already voted in the referendum, which is due to be concluded on November 29, 2024. The Organization of Emerging African States congratulates Biafra people and congratulates the Biafra Republic government in exile for its sagacity and initiative in undertaking the referendum on the future of Biafra. And on this note, they also declared the result of the Biafra self-referendum shall be considered binding under international law as a definitive statement of the intention and aspiration of the Biafra people. My fellow Biafra, as the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic of Metineza and the de facto government of Biafra in the homeland, it is very imperative that each and every progress we make, we will come to brief you. It is also very, very important that we keep all Biafra people, home and abroad, putting whatever we do on check and balance. And that's why it is very important that we brief you today the milestone the Biafra Republic government has made, making sure that our self-referendum, we are going to force it on those who have impoverished Biafra for decades. We are going to force it on those who have subjugated us to slavery, killing our people, our women and children, taking our land by force and changing the demography of our region. My fellow Biafrans, I want to urge you to continue to show fearless resilience in the ongoing Biafra self-referendum. Continue to cast your vote, both locally at the polling unit and also, of course, online. We will continue to encourage you that this particular self-referendum being organized and supervised by Biafra government is a process that we feel and see as the only legitimate way that will serve the interests of Biafra. Everything we do is Biafra first. Biafra first before Nigeria. Biafra first before any other person. It is the interest of our people, making sure that we provide security to our women and children. That's why we have taken this particular bold step, which we are now beginning to see result as being recognized and endorsed by organizations. The journey of 1,000 miles, they say, start with a step. I rest my case. I will now invite our international consultancy and our international attorney, Dr. Levy, to come on board and have a comment. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. I want to point out a couple things. First of all, Biafra is, of course, a charter member of the Organization of Emerging African States and was, as usual, leading the way for liberation from neo-colonialism in Africa by coming together with the two other charter members, Southern Cameroons and Cabinda, to form that organization, which has now grown much larger. Dr. Akwanga, the Secretary General, Ebenezer Akwanga, who could not be here today, he's up in northern Ghana. He sends his regards to you, Prime Minister. In consultations with him, it was a revelation to the Organization of Emerging African States that, again, Biafra shows the initiative to hold a self-referendum because, of course, in the past, we always asked Nigeria to hold the referendum. And, of course, that's a mistake. 3 times Nigeria's been asked, even more times by others. And now the technology and initiative exists, so we have the ability to hold a referendum that, in my opinion, and in the opinion of the Organization of Emerging African States, will meet all international law standards. Because, of course, We're using digital and local methods. The referendum can be verified and will be the will of the people. And Biafra, again, leads the way in Africa with this. So under international law, referendum is by and large, of course, is the preferred method to achieve independence, because then there's no question about what the people want. Once this referendum is finished and the results announced, they will be binding under international law. Biafra, if it's the will of the people, if the republic is to be restored, then that is what will happen. The Organization of Emerging African States will be one of the first to congratulate and certify the results of that referendum, and as I believe other international organizations must do so also. For example, several years ago, an inquiry was made to the European Union by the OAS on behalf of Biafra, what their opinion was about the situation and holding a referendum. The external service of the European Union said, of course, we support all ways of achieving self-determination recognized by international law. And of course, the premier way to do this is the referendum. So again, there's no question. I think if you ask anybody, a well-coordinated referendum meets all requirements under international law.
Yes, my beautiful people, you are welcome back. We've come to the end of today's broadcast. As you heard from our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, and the Biafran attorney, Dr. Levi, you heard what they said, and the updates of the Biafran referendum, and how the Biafran movement, Biafran referendum, the voting, how everything is going according to plan. My people, it's clear that Biafrans, we are going home very soon. And this is what I keep saying every day. Nothing will stop the coming of Biafra. And the way our Prime Minister is taking this awareness, it's something that no one can stop. That's why I always admire this guy, Prime Minister, the wonderful work he has been doing or he has done since Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. The awareness he has created, it's something unbelievable. And that's why he still remains unstoppable. And nothing will stop the coming of Biafra. My people, we are going home very soon. We are leaving that country, Nigeria, very soon. This is where we're going to stop.